Welcome back to Working Girls. I'm Trinity the Tuck.
And I'm Ginger the Glamour Toad Midge. Welcome back to our weekly podcast where us two working girls talk to a whole bunch of good old-fashioned working people.
Yeah, well, today I'm super excited. I love music.
Yeah.
That's a huge part of what we do. Our guest today is all about music. So tell me, what kind of music do you like?
Oh, girl, I grew up in the theater, so I love me some show tunes. And the motto that I had growing up, I don't even know where I heard this. It's probably stitched on a pillow in my grandmother's house. But it was always, if you can't say it, sing it. And I think that's what's so beautiful about music is whenever the emotions are just so heightened and you don't know how to get those words out, you just start singing them and all of a sudden it makes sense.
I think my saying would be, if you can't say it, lip sync it. Because nobody wants to hear me sing.
Well, I thought yours was, if you can't sell it, you're going to sit on it.
Well, yeah, sometimes I'm just trying to give it away. It's been on clearance, girl. I can't even sell it to sit on it.
Isn't that good $5 bid?
Yeah, she is discount.
Direct to DVD.
Girl, she's like on cassette. Speaking of music, she's like, what? Oh, vinyl. She's on vinyl.
What was the very first album that you owned? And was it like a vinyl, an 8-track, a cassette tape, a CD? What was it?
Well, my grandparents already had a ton of music on like cassette. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really ever buy music. When I become of the age of wanting to buy music, it's when CDs had just came out. Mm-hmm. And my grandmother bought me several different CDs. The first one was Matchbox 20.
Now, for those kids out there, a CD is a compact disc recording. It's ancient technology.
And then she bought me Little Richie. I don't know why. Maybe because like he's a flamer and was like, okay, well, you'll like
Little Richard.
Little Richard.
I was like, who is Little Richie?
Little Richard. And
Little Richie was from Family Matters.
But my first album that I ever bought was Destiny's Child's first album. That was the first one I bought myself. I had saved up my allowance to buy it.
My very first piece of music that I owned was Kokomo by the Beach Boys. And it was on a cassette tape. And I was obsessed with that song because I had heard when I was really young. Remember the Trolls would do like the live action little videos and stuff? Uh-huh. They sang Kokomo. So I became obsessed with it. And my Uncle Jeff, he thought that it would be a fun idea to wrap it in a series of progressively large boxes. So, girl, I get this box. It's like this big. I'm like, oh, I finally got something big. This will be a good present. I rip open and there's another box. And then another box and another box. There was like 10 boxes. And I finally get down to this teeny tiny little cassette tape. And I played that thing until it wouldn't play anymore.
I remember cassette tapes. I used to record music from like the radio.
Yeah, me too. I used to record episodes of Saved by the Bell onto cassette tape because we did a lot of like road trips for my parents' work when I was younger. So I would just pop on my Walkman and I would pop the tape and I would just listen to these episodes over and over and over again. I think that's probably why I'm still obsessed with Saved by the Bell. It really kept me company on a lot of those terrible family trips. But the very first piece of music that I bought was the Tina Turner Best Of compilation compact disc recording from McDonald's.
What? They sold discs at
yes,
McDonald's?
This was some big promotion they were doing. It was like 94, 95, I don't remember. But there was like a Garth Brooks one, an NSYNC, no, not NSYNC, they weren't really big then. But not Backstreet Boys.
New Kids on the Block.
New Kids, yes, them. So it was all these compilation CDs, and I fell in love with Tina Turner from What's Love Got to Do With It from the movie.
Yeah.
So I went and I bought that. It was $5 with your value meal.
Girl, okay, so this isn't really music, but it has to do with a cassette tape. My sister used to make me play with her with Barbies. Uh-huh. And I liked playing with Barbies, just not with her because she was really mean. She was 6 years older than me, and she was just hateful.
My sister's 10 years older than me.
And she used to record our playtime with Barbies, and I remember playing back one of the cassettes, and she was just yelling at me. And I was like sitting there crying because I didn't want to play. I didn't want to play with Ken. I wanted to play with Barbie.
You wanted to be Barbie.
Yeah. And so, I had that cassette tape for a while. And then I recorded over it with music.
That was good blackmail too. Like you should have kept it.
I should have.
Yeah, that would have been great. And then of course, like I always sang. I sang through theater. I sang in the church choir. I started singing my own songs when I got older. So music's always been a very passionate part of my life.
Yeah, I mean, I love to make noises with my throat, but it's never translated to music. I mean, I have an album, but she is very auto-tuned.
You could be a Tibetan monk.
Yeah.
Well, our guests today are actually very talented vocalists. This is a very talented band, and I cannot wait to hear the dish.
Our first guest today is a really amazing band. I've listened to their music all day yesterday, and it's super fun, and I can dance to it. Late guest at the party. Hi.
Hey, hi.
You look so excited.
Always.
So we have Beth and Renzo from the band. We're missing one of you. Who are we missing?
Gabriele.
Gabriella.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, couldn't make it.
Our
today.
bass player.
Yeah.
He was getting trade.
Yeah.
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 Like,
Of course.
yeah. Okay.
I don't think he knows what that means, but
That's totally fine.
Renzo, are you not part of the LGBT community?
No, but I'm really supportive.
yeah.
Okay.
So you're the A in the LGBTQIA plus.
I mean, he supports me, so
That's good. That's good. So Beth, you are part of the LGBT
Yes.
community.
Yeah.
Tell us more about y'all.
What in what way?
Well,
mean,
I know that
here, so-
you guys, the band started back in 2002, correct?
Correct.
But
Yeah.
Beth, you didn't start with the band till 2016.
Yeah, just about. Yeah.
How did that happen? How did you become like a band together?
Do you want to talk about Italy time first?
We want to talk prehistoric.
Yeah, tell us.
Ooh, we want the
Okay.
backstory, the dish,
Yeah.
the tea, the
So
goss.
the band started in Italy. Yes, we were all from Italy, and then we toured a lot in Europe, and with time we had some interest in the US, specifically New York, and our producer was from here. So then we decided to move. To make it really brief, we decided all to move here, and some of us didn't make it. Me and Gabriele, we are still from the original band, but then we met Beth, and she's now our vocalist.
Yeah.
This is the really condensated history.
Yeah.
We like
I
it.
love that. Now, so you're from Italy, which is, I did recognize an accent. I thought you were Southern, but apparently you're from Italy.
Maybe
So-
Southern Italy.
I don't know.
Mid-Italy.
I go to Olive Garden, I get the tour of Italy, so I feel like I've been from one point to the next.
I love Italian things. Fashion, leather, food, men. I love Italian sausage.
Yeah.
So you put the band together in Italy, and then you decided to make the big move to come over to America as kind of it was like a big move for the career.
Yes.
And then you stumbled into this gorgeous Beth over here and decided to bring her into the fold.
Actually, what are your pronouns, Beth? I don't want to.
Beth or they, whatever is convenient.
Beth or they? Okay, great. We should have asked that beforehand.
I'm gonna call you Hot
I
Beth.
mean, I'm like, I don't even. My boyfriend is a trans drag queen, and we're both very much on the same line. And we hang out with gay men all the time. So like her and he and they and whatever.
Her, he, they. I'm the same way. Call me anything as long as you're calling me and paying me.
I call my dad she
Do
all
you?
the time, which is probably why he doesn't call me back.
Like whatever's comfortable in the moment.
So how did this become a thing? Beth, were you doing music as a band before you met them?
Renzo told the late guest backstory. I was in a punk band in New Jersey for a long time, and it was a lot of fun. But the band, like, they all wanted to go to college basically and start those lives. So
How dare they?
What? You have a band.
I was like, I want to go on tour. I want to live out of a van. Who wants to join me? And then,
Exactly. Make music, not good decisions.
Yeah.
Why do you want a career? Why do you want a college degree? What's going on? So I started working with the same producer that they came from Italy for. And then we just met and kept working together. And I did one song with them and they put it out. And then they were like, do you want to sing with us live? We don't have a singer. And I was like, can I just join the band and do everything
Do you
with
want
you
to
guys?
sing with us forever?
Yeah. Can I just do it with you? I miss being in a band after leaving my punk band.
They said, hey, we've got a van and we're willing to drive you anywhere in the world. There's puppies and candy inside.
We played Italy, but I want to go on tour still. That's still like number one goal.
Well, your sound is different than punk. So it must have been a big transition from your old band to what you are now. You're like electronic pop, right?
Yeah.
Like 90s vibe.
For sure. I think that was just like a marrying of Renzo's production and influences and like my big voice. Because even in a punk band, I was still like pop punk. Like pop music is so integral to me. So we kept trying to figure out what sound we wanted, and it landed in like the 90s dance.
So did you have to audition, or was it just like an offer, like, hey, you come and sing with us forever and ever and ever, or we want you to do this, or maybe you should like, I don't know, sing us happy birthday or something?
Well, he was playing drums for my brief solo pop career already. So we were already working together. And like I said, I missed having a band after just like a few years. So it was just perfect. Good timing.
I really don't believe much in auditions. I just like, it was so perfect. Like that was so perfect. And then, like it hit correctly. And then we
He's
joined.
like a big brother to me. And I have 3 brothers, but the more the merrier.
How tall are you?
Almost 6 feet.
Almost 6 feet.
Almost 6.
I'm like 5'7", like an average.
Oh, that's actually that's not too bad.
I'm the tiny one, always.
Yeah, I mean, your hair is really tall, so.
Well, yeah, and so are my dreams. They're big.
Yeah, you got heels and hair. You're good.
Not today.
That's kind of like how Ginger and I started this podcast together, because I had a podcast previous to this one. This is a new one that we're starting. Yeah. And Ginger was a guest frequently on my podcast. And then I stopped doing it for a while. And when we decided to start back, I was like, let's do it together. And so that's kind of, we started our own band. We just don't sing.
Well, I do.
You do sing.
I do.
It's way more fun to work with people, right? Especially when you have we have a really good relationship. Like we've been working together for 8 years now. So
have y'all ever had like a breakup like all bands do?
I don't think we will ever break up. It
will
never be like that. I've had band breakups in the past, and I've seen other musician friends go through band breakups, and they do often feel like a breakup. And I just don't think we would ever do that to each other. It would just be like you go do what you want, I'm doing what I want. Great, love you, have a good time.
Well, Renzo, are you out of college? Are you out of school completely?
I'm out of school completely, yeah.
All right, wonderful. So you're good to go. This band is not breaking up.
I'm actually in online school now, so I can do it wherever I want it.
Okay, so that's good. At least there's that. At least you're being a little bit more responsible, but yet you're not like kicking your dreams completely off to the side. So tell us what influenced your band's music today, like as a whole. Now that Beth is part of the band, what influences the music?
Well, it's really like a connection of our 2 different worlds. I'm really influenced, obviously, by Euro dance and music in general. Italo disco that turned into house music, especially Chicago house music, which I'm a really big fan. So let's say that musically, there's a lot of Euro dance, but then on the lyric side and on the final touches, there's a lot of American house, which we both love, I think. Maybe you can describe it better.
Your music is great. I was listening to it all yesterday just to make sure that I got really familiar coming into this interview. And it's so dancey. It's so fun. Like I was like in my bed, I was like, oh yeah, I'm getting it. I'm having my little dance party.
Well, that's really kinky and a little bit too much information, but I agree.
I had a lot of fun with all my personalities. We were having a blast.
It's a great time for you and all your personalities at home, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we've had to make friends with all of our personalities throughout quarantine.
I've had
or else we would never have survived.
Yeah, I've had plenty of dance parties with my roommate's cat, just listening to our tracks. So,
How has that been, having a band and trying to survive through a pandemic? Like, you made an album, you even made music last year. So how was that through? Huh?
always making music.
Yeah. So how was that making music through a pandemic?
So luckily, we're actually in our studio right now. We rent a space outside of our houses, and we practice here and we write here. And Renzo lives here basically. We might as well have a couch and a bed for him. But yeah, we were blessed. We already had this space going into the pandemic, and shared it with a few people. And some of those people dropped off, but we still kept the space for ourselves. And it's a blessing. Like, it's so easy and comfortable to go into another home, kind of.
Now, do you get a discount on the space because it's on fire?
Correct.
Yes, we get the fire discount. We just leave it on fire all the time.
Now, I do have to say that, like, for myself, I don't know if Trinity would agree, but I found the pandemic, even though I couldn't go out and travel and do the things that I typically do for my work, it did force me to become a lot more creative with the resources that I have around me. So I recorded 2 albums last year. Like, I just sat down and started writing music and looking around at things that I could use to create something new. A, with no money, because I wasn't making any money.
Gosh. Yeah.
And B, just to keep myself from going crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a closet studio that I made for myself growing up, so I understand. A sliding door, and I just kept it closed, and my dad had soundproofing in the basement, and I just made it and ran a cable out from under it. And he was like, great.
Yeah, I feel like going through this past year, you have to be creative with what you, if your job is not something you can necessarily just do from home, like, you have to figure out a way to make it work. And you know, your job is not that far off from what we do. Like, it's a creative, artistic job. So yeah, you have to figure it out. So that's great. Now, Beth, because you're part of the LGBT community, and Renzo, you are an ally, how does your music coincide with that? Do you do any activism? Have you performed for any fundraisers or anything like that?
I still joke with my friends about they had a show, it was like the Who's Who show. So it'd be like Who's Macy Rodman, Who's Church, which are like Brooklyn artists. And we played on the Who's Church show. And my roommate runs these shows. And I still want to do a Who's Late show and then make it a Planned Parenthood fundraiser. So that would be great.
That would be really cool. Yeah.
Count us in, we'll do something.
Yeah. I'll be a backup dancer. I would say backup dancer, but girl, you don't want to hear me sing.
I'll do the backup singing. She'll do the backup dancing.
Yeah. We'll both do hair and makeup for all of you. Renzo, you're going to be in wig.
Yes. Yeah. I need you. Yes.
You have the cheekbones. I think you'd be gorgeous.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, a little bit here.
Just a little bit. Just a pinch.
A little bit.
Now that things are starting to open back up, are you all planning on touring soon?
Yeah, we're looking at where is opening right now. We're brainstorming what artists we would dream of maybe going on with and sending our people out to try and make those things happen. Yeah. So yeah, the world's opening up, and we had already had a goal of doing like a 2021 Euro tour, and then just had to kind of forget about it. But yeah, if someone's touring Europe and wants us, tell us, we'll be there.
I think what I want to know, and what everybody listening wants to know, is since you are based in Italy, like this is where the band comes from, do you have aspirations of Eurovision?
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
I think that would be so good.
Yeah, I would love to go on Eurovision. I don't think it will happen because we have to go through the Italian reviews first, which are really old-fashioned in terms of music taste. But I would love to. So
there's like a long process to be able to even be considered for Eurovision?
We need to create a song that is really on an Italian standard, let's say, in order to make it slowly to Eurovision. Yeah. We had to win Italy first, and then go to.
I've actually
So
been
it's
in
like a
writing
pageant.
sessions. Oh yeah, and I've been in writing sessions for people trying to write Eurovision songs, and it is like, how do we write Bing Bang Bong and make it good?
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. So you made a Drag Race reference. So you're a fan of the show?
Yeah, absolutely. I my good friend and my partner's roommate made some clothes for Candy Muse this last season. My boyfriend was grommeting pockets for the pocket dress for like days.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my gosh.
For which one? For who?
The pocket look for Candy.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
The one that got torn apart. Even
But
Candy was
online
like, girl, I
got so
hate
much
this.
love.
I
Online
liked
got
it.
so much love. Yeah.
They put so much effort into that and it just got torn apart.
Well, girl, it doesn't help with the person wearing it standing there going, I know I look like garbage. I know this looks like shit. I was like, girl, own it. I thought it was good.
Yeah, Pinwheel was just happy with all the love and support that people were putting out, and like loved Candy's photo, thought it was brilliant. Like, if you're not comfortable in it, I'm not going to force you to wear it, you know, like so happy that she made that choice. So
well, speaking of Drag Race, you have worked with Honey Davenport, who's a Drag Race queen before, right?
Yeah, we just did a remix with Honey. It was a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You've also opened for a couple of big name artists. Can you tell us who they were and like how was your experience with that?
Yeah.
Well, we did back in the days. We did Hot Gossip. I don't know if you remember that band.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was amazing, and they were really supportive. I got to play their drums actually, and I'm sorry if I kind of trashed them, the drums, and they had to play after us, but they were really understanding and they were totally fine with that. But I think that was one of the big names that we got to play to, and then we did in the past a remix for Phantogram with our old producer, the same name that connected us together. But they always been really supportive from an outsider band, let's call it this way, you know, like coming from Italy and like trying to join the scene. It was absolutely amazing working with these two bands, at least. Yeah.
Now, is majority of your fan base in Italy, or is it kind of just migrated all over?
It's migrating right now.
Yeah.
Currently.
I mean, literally, a lot of their friends from Italy moved to Brooklyn and come to a lot of our shows.
Okay, good.
No, but also, we having more and more listeners growing in here.
And it's US. Digital now. Like, I think since I joined the band, most followings have been universal and kind of global. And like when Russia joined Spotify, we were surprised at our streams in Russia. We were like, wait, who's listening to us?
Oh gosh, in Russia, that's cool. Yeah.
Well, and after this interview, you'll get after this, you'll get at least 2 more listeners.
Yeah, maybe 3.
Maybe 3. We don't know what our poll is yet.
I mean, it'll be, 2 of us. We'll each listen.
We'll each listen. My husband will listen. So that's 3.
There's the 3. Thank God. Yeah. I mean, 3 loyal listeners. That's a great grab. I'm into it.
Yeah. Now, isn't that something interesting though? Like when Spotify does get picked up here, there, and everywhere, you don't assume that the music that you've put out will even connect or reach an audience that's across the world. And then all of a sudden you're most popular in like a place like Russia or Australia or some place where it's literally just the opposite end of the earth from you.
Like, how did this happen? Who picked us up? We had a big DJ in the Netherlands like put us on his mix once, and we were like, okay, cool, yeah, great. Whenever you want us, Netherlands, let's go.
Exactly.
To speak to Ginger's point, that's crazy. Do you guys know the band Erasure? They were really big in the 80s. Yeah. So I used to tour with them as a drag queen backup dancer. So like I said, it's not far off. I can do that for y'all too. Hello. And so they were from Europe, but surprisingly, majority of their fan base was in South America. Like they were humongous, huge. When I traveled with them, wasn't that long ago, and they were their hits were in the 80s. They were huge in Colombia and in Chile. When we went to Chile, people were like rocking the van. That's how many people were outside the van. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. So yeah, you really don't know where your fan base is going to land until, you know.
I mean, that happens to me every time I eat at a Chili's.
you mean every time you eat at a Chili's, that's what your toilet does. It
No, girl, it's the wait staff rocking me into the van. I like chicken crispers. What can I say?
So tell us some embarrassing moments. Y'all been together for a while. Like that's a long time that your band has been together. So there's got to be like at least one good embarrassing moment story.
Well,
I feel like what he finds embarrassing, I don't think is embarrassing at all. And what I find embarrassing, he's like, whatever, nothing. There's nothing there. Just keep going.
A moment that for me was really embarrassing was, I mean, I'm sorry, it wasn't with you, but it was with our previous singer, but it's still related to the band. We were playing live and small DIY venue here in New York. Not so many people, but probably 20 people in the audience, so not a big crowd. But the singer did a couple of steps back and completely fell on my drums, and I wasn't even looking, but you know, I found myself drumming on my singer. That was really embarrassing.
Is that why they quit? Is that why they
Girl,
quit?
that's one way to beat them up.
Yes.
He hit me with drumsticks. What am I supposed to
Probably.
Is there any like
not bad?
No.
Is there any drama?
Not with us. Like I said, he's like my brother. So if we ever get mad at each other, we're over it in a second. Like we're so easy to work together.
And it's true. We always say no, there's no drama, but it's real.
Yeah.
Like there's real.
It's great. I always said being in a band is like dating a bunch of people. And so I dated like 3 dudes in my punk band and it was so exhausting, but this is more like a sibling relationship and it's great. It's like you do what you need to do, I'll do what I need to do. We come together, we make cool music. Great.
Also, I think we are getting to a different age where we're not, you know, like 20s or something, and we're like, you know, we can deal with our problems. If there's any problem, we can just talk, and that's no drama at all.
Yeah.
That's good. That's really good.
How old are you?
38.
38?
Yeah.
29.
29.
Oh, Beth, you're about to go into the 30s.
All right, so here, when is your
I'm never
birthday?
turning 30. COVID took me back a year, so I'm still trying.
When is your birthday?
November 8th.
November 8th. Okay, so this is what I tell all of my friends that are going into their 30s. I never thought it would happen to me, but literally, like,
you didn't think you were going to go in your 30s?
No, well, I didn't think I'd make it there, honestly. No, but literally, like 2 days after I hit 30, things started hurting on my body that I never knew existed. And I was in much better shape then. So I'm just going to say stock up on as much ibuprofen as you can. And the acetaminophen, and you want to alternate those on days or it'll give you a stomach ache, but really stock up on those.
I got a jump start on that. I had back surgery last year, so.
So you're an old pro.
Yeah, I speaking to the whole pain thing, like my knees were killing me like in my late 20s, early 30s, but I did expect that. I
spent a lot of time.
I spent a lot of time there on my knees.
And it's the only thing she hasn't had replaced.
Yet. That's the next surgery.
Right before this interview, we were talking about chiropractors. So we just, you know, I was talking about a chiropractor.
Yeah.
They're amazing, aren't they?
I'm scared.
Love them. Love them.
Don't be scared.
They save me.
I mean, you don't have to get an adjustment if you don't want to. They have plenty of other treatments that they can do.
No, you know what really freaks me out is the acupuncture.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, I can't. Oh my gosh.
One SNL skit.
I don't know.
Oh gosh, no, there's just blood everywhere. I was like, okay, I probably amped up, but no, I'm not doing that.
I like acupuncture. I've never had that done. Getting adjusted. The first time I ever had my neck adjusted though was really freaky, and I thought they were gonna break my neck, but they didn't, and it felt really good. So.
Luckily, I don't have a neck, so I've never had to worry about that.
So, what are your future goals? What are some upcoming goals that you really want to achieve with your band?
Definitely tour. I mean, I've been waiting since I left my punk band to go on tour, so a long time waiting for me. We're working on an album, but we're just always writing, so it's just like we're trying to speed up that process a little bit so we have more songs for a larger release. Continuing to work with people. Renzo produces for people and has fun with
people. I produce for people.
For people.
Yeah.
I love including other writers in our process. So
Yeah.
we've worked with some really cool vocalists and songwriters. Mostly I take care of the lyrics and melody, and Renzo writes the tracks, and maybe I'll like help move things around or like add a sound, but Renzo takes a big part of the track writing and then gives me songs to work on.
Is it hard for you guys to agree on what kind of music that you're like the direction you want your songs to go in?
No, because there's a bunch of songs, a lot of songs, a lot of tracks. Then Beth chooses 2 of them, and then we agree. Those are fine.
Yep.
The secret is just preparing a lot of tracks, and then she can go and like pick the ones that are good for her and for Beth, and then we take it from there.
Yeah.
And slowly guiding them.
Yeah.
And you just came out with an album called Classic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. Okay. And so if people are looking for your music, where can they find you?
I mean, Spotify primarily, but I love Bandcamp. So go to Bandcamp and buy it there if you want to own it. I don't know. I think people should own their music still. Deezer, whatever you use. What are all the Shazam us if you don't know?
And you have Instagram or Facebook, Twitter, OnlyFans. What do you have?
Christian Mingle.
Not OnlyFans yet, but I'm kidding. LGATP, because late guest at the party is too long, so LGATP. And that will get you.
You'll find us.
Yeah, it'll get
find
you us
everywhere.
on Instagram. If you Google it, it will bring you wherever we are.
Nice. Well, I'm super excited to see what you pull out soon if you're working on another song.
Well, I want to know quickly, like you just released this album called Classic, and you're working on a brand new album right now.
Yeah.
What's the difference in that? What's the tone shift? Is it a different message, different sound?
Sonically, it's gonna be more rough. We want to try to bring it. Yes.
We like rough.
And going
like
to
rough.
to really the source of just one single sound, even if there's just one kick drum and vocals, it's fine. It doesn't need to have a stack of tracks, like trying to make it really to the bare bones of a song and really with a rougher sound, I would say. Yeah.
Is there any like major artist that like your dream collaboration would be?
Oh man.
Well,
I mean, I would love to work with Lady Miss Kier
Ooh.
so much. Or like Crystal Waters or any of the
Crystal Water.
old ladies of 90s dance.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. I love 90s dance music. Actually, before I looked up your music and listened to it, I was that's what was on my Spotify now is 90s dance music, late 80s, early 90s dance music.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I listen to when I'm like washing the dishes.
I've been listening to yacht rock.
Yacht rock? What is that?
Yeah, I didn't even know it was a thing.
What is that?
Girl, it's just all 80s and 90s music.
Yacht rock.
I got
guess
into
drunk
yacht rock
people listen
because
to it
of
on
the
a
band
boat.
Yacht. I like looked up the band Yacht and it brought me to yacht rock. And what am I listening to? This isn't Yacht, but I like it.
So is that why it's called yacht rock?
No, there's just a like electro pop band called Yacht that I love as well, and I just ended up there one day.
Well, we're gonna go follow them and listen too.
I don't know why would it be called yacht rock? Maybe because like the people that were listening to it back in the 80s are now own like yachts. And...
Girl, it's just old drunk white people on a boat listening to music.
And they're like, oh, yacht rock.
The venue in the Hamptons, the surf shack. So many.
Oh.
Yeah. Like,
Well, thank you so much for coming on our podcast, and I hope that you both, all three of you, have great success with your band and your new album and the one that you're working on now. It sounds really fun.
We'll be listening.
Great.
Thank you
I
so
have
much. Thank
one
you.
more quick question before we go, Renzo. Now you've talked about you beat up somebody else's drums. You started drumming on your old lead singer. Are you Animal from the Muppets? I mean, that's really what I want to know.
Probably, yeah. I have that
Yeah.
soul. I have that in my soul.
Give me a little drum. Like, show our viewers. Oh my gosh. I drum like this. It's very different.
Oh.
All right.
See, I wanted to play drums in high school. My grandmother was like, I was raised by my grandmother, and she was like, oh, you should join the band. I was like, well, I'll join the band if I can play the drums. And she's like, no, your sister played the clarinet, so you can have her old clarinet. I said, I'm not doing that. If I'm going to blow anything, it's not going to be a clarinet.
So she turned it into a curling wand.
Oh, gosh. Well, thank you both so much
Thank
for
you
coming
so
on
much.
our podcast today.
Yes, it was so nice to meet
Thank you.
you.
You too. When you guys ever come out to New York, let us know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We would love to come see a concert. So we need free tickets.
Of course.
Well, whenever you go on your headlining international tour, you can bring us as your backup singer, backup dancer, and maybe we'll be an opening act too.
Or maybe, you know, she could be the bouncer and I could be like the person at the front door that checks.
Just checks ID.
Yeah, the VIP ID.
My dad's gonna drive us. He called it like 10 years ago. He's like, I'm your
Okay, well, I'm basically your dad, so
driver.
in a wig.
I'm
We're
disgusted.
covered.
Well, thanks so much. Y'all have a great day.
Yeah.
You too.
Bye.
So much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for listening to Working Girls with Trinity the Tuck.
And Ginger Minge. And remember, we do this shit every week. So make sure you come back and give us a listen.
All right, talk to you later.